Hi guys, it's Penny Henry from Crit for Christ Designs. I wanted to share with you guys a book I just finished reading called Crazy Joy by Mary Katherine Backstrom. This was sent to me by Hachette Book Group in exchange for my honest review, free of charge. I have to say that for their lawyer thing. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you about it a little bit. It was so funny. I'm serious. Her anecdotes are hilarious. I'm going to tell you the contents are joy in the journey, in the weeds, joy is a force, flowers for the dead, muddy math, lost in translation, a ghost story, dragons and bridges, thief of joy, king of goblins, tinfoil hats, mavericks and magnolias, and life in the upside down. And her subtitle is Finding Wild Happiness in a World That's Upside Down. Like I said, her anecdotes are hilarious. That's why I read to you the contents, because I'm going to tell you about a few of the different anecdotes that are just so funny. It's not funny. Anyway, also, I wanted to, I don't know why. Okay, I know why. Okay, each chapter, okay, of course, first of all, this book is how to find joy. Not happiness, joy. We've read before that joy is from God, happiness is due to circumstances, and that's what I've seen how she says in this book. She has tour guide takeaways after each chapter, which is 1 to 3 questions, just to make you think about what you've read. And I always like books that do that, because if you think about it, then you're going to remember, or at least I am. It says, Crazy Joy will help readers to identify and reject unrealistic expectations that society has placed on their lives, liberate their hearts from the comparison prison, and feel content in their current circumstances, view themselves inside and out as the masterpiece creations that they are, and find joy and, dare we say, laughter in the middle of life's biggest messes. She also wrote Holy Hot Mess. I started to say a hot holy mess. Anyway, it was another one. It was funny, and it comes in audio and written, and I believe in the ebook. I have audio and written. Nope, I have the ebook as well. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, that was a good one too. This one, like I said, is hilarious. Mary Katherine Backstrom, she lives in Alabama, which is cool because she's about an hour away from me. She lives with her husband, her children, 2 dogs, and a cat. And when she isn't writing, she's active in her church, in her community, and her favorite Mexican restaurant. So anyway, she's been on Today Show, CNN, New York Times, and Ellen. So she has a following. But anyway, like I said, when I'm reading a book, a nonfiction book especially, I love the anecdotes and the little personal stories that tell you about, I mean, it pulls you in. At least it does me. It pulls me in when I can see her personal stories that illustrate what she's trying to talk about. And at times, they were just funny stories. I didn't really get what they had to do with the chapter, but it was still funny. So anyway, some of the ones that, well, first let me tell you, she says joy is a whisper from God. I love that. And like I've told you guys before, I have little sayings I pick up from different places that I put around so that, you know, I can look at them and think about it. And this is one of the ones I'm going to make a some kind of picture to help me think about it, because I just think it's neat. Anyway, one of her chapters is Flowers for the Dead. That was so funny, guys. She and her friends, I guess they lived near a cemetery, and and there was a park there that I didn't get that backed up to their house. And so they went and they played in the park, and they were allowed to play in the park. And so one of these times, they just decided that they were going to have a luau for their parents. And so they had all their parents together in one place, and they got the music and the pineapple and the whole thing. And they made beautiful lace for these people, right? And they're all sitting at the table, and they're like, these are so gorgeous, guys. Where did you get the flowers? Oh my, they were stunned to find out that their children went and decided to take the flowers off people's graves, because dead people don't care, and make lace out of them. Well, the thing is, the people who put the flowers there did care, and so that's how she starts out her introduction, and I just thought it was funny. And that's when she's talking about joy in the journey. You know, fun things happen on our way, you know, through our lifetime. I'm not going to explain this one to you, because you got to look up some of them and read them yourself. But read about the green ketchup. That was a funny one too. Lost in Translation was one of her other ones. And she thought that she was supposed to, she read all about it, because she, being bipolar and everything, she would change things. You know, she'll see something that she likes, and she'll throw herself all into it to make it happen. Well, she went to Thailand. She read all about it, and she read that it was polite to, when you go by an elder in Thailand, to, I think it's bow and, you know, stop and say this phrase. Well, she'd been going through Thailand saying this phrase all over the place, and people are laughing at her, and she didn't understand why. Well, finally, she asked her host family, why were people laughing when I thought I was being polite? Well, actually, she was asking permission to toot. So anyway, it, like I said, it was funny, but I don't know. Yeah, lost in trend. I don't know what it has to do with joy, but it was funny, so it had to do with joy. And she talks about self-compassion and being nice to yourself, and that helps you to find joy. And she talked about that in the Lost in Translation. So anyway, another anecdote she had was, you know how you have we used to have the DARE officers that came to our, to the schools, and McGruff the dog and all those. Well, anyway, she went through the whole little thing she was supposed to go through, and on the paperwork, it talks about alcohol being a drug. And they told her that, you know, if you see drugs in your home, you need to report it. So the next day, she's trying to do exactly what she's supposed to do. And so she goes to her dare officer and she reports that because her daddy drank a beer every once in a while. And so she reported that there were drugs in her home. So, yeah, that shows that, yeah, things can get lost in the translation. But again, you got to find joy in situations. She had a hitchhiker that she was picking up an older lady, so she thought she was just fine picking her up. And the older lady is sitting there drinking a beer in her car, and or alcohol of some sort. It's called Mad Dog. I had never heard of it. I looked it up, and it sounded like a beer to me, so I don't know. But anyway, she asked the lady, she says, I'm new here, but I don't, I think they have open container laws. And I'd appreciate if you would just wait till you get home to drink your drink. And the lady just proceeds to go, nope. And, tried to get her to tell her where she was going. Well, she took her to a 7-Eleven and had her buy snacks for her. And then, so she calls her husband and she's like, I think I'm getting myself into some trouble. And so he told her, he said, give her some money and, her snacks, and just tell her that you can't take her any further. So she did, and the lady just proceeded. She stuffed the money in her pocket, took snacks, smashed the beer she was drinking, threw it on a floorboard, threw another one out the door, went to the next person, and was, getting money from them. So, yeah, that was interesting and funny. Another one she talks about, now this I can see joy in. They have I remember, because this was from Orlando, actually. I remember being in Orlando, and I remember, I called them phlox. The weed flowers that were really pretty, and, you take them to Mama and everything. Mama's going to get all excited about it, of course. Well, she talks about the henbit. They're called henbit bits, she said. Anyway, she talks about the henbits, which are weeds, and she talks about an iris, which is a very fickle plant that needs a lot of care. And she talks about how happiness, in other words, that deals with circumstance, is fickle. But joy is like that weed, and it blooms wherever it's planted. It blooms in the cracks and the crevices, and in the chaos, and it knows how to flourish, just like joy. So I thought that was a good one, because she had brought the henbits to her mom, and her mom also was really good with flowers, and so the iris, that's how she brought in the iris. She talked about how community, we need to make community a priority if we want to be filled with joy. And even if it takes a risk, like she did not like going to crowded places and, around other people and stuff. Well, she went to a small group gathering, and, she's putting herself out there. She's risking it all to make it a priority for community, because she heard that that's what was going to help her have joy. Well, the leader was talking about how you get to heaven and they never stop singing. And, most people, oh, that's so awesome, hearing the choirs. And, I can imagine. I just think it's going to be awesome. Anyway, so she pops up and she says, I think heaven is stressful, or is going to be stressful, because can you imagine people never stop singing. That's got to stress you out. And so anyway, she, you know, she opened her mouth without thinking and stuff. And they just pulled her in, you know, and the leader actually, I think he did a good job. He pulled her in and he turned it around instead of getting her, you know, people laughing at her and stuff. He's like, well, that's a good thought, you know. So anyway, that was another good one, and that was talking about how it takes community. You have to make it a priority to be around people. And the other one is thief. Let's see, what is it? The thief of joy is comparison, and that is so true. You see, and I was, at the beginning, I was, so much worse than I am now about it. But it's like, well, if I don't get enough likes, that means they don't like my channel, and I need to stop doing it, and, you know, just down on myself, you know. And that's what she's talking about, especially social media. They make it like, if you don't do what they see as good, then, you know, you're not worth nothing. And that's what she says. That's a thief of joy, is comparing yourself to other people. Comparing yourself to the person with the mansion down the road. Comparing yourself with the skinny little Photoshop girl. Comparing yourself with the person that's making hundreds of thousands of dollars on their YouTube videos, which honestly, I can't see that happening. I'm sorry. No matter what people say on their channels, I can't see that happening. Anyway, finding joy by retiring some of the gatekeepers around you. That was another thing. Sometimes some people don't need to be in your life, and you have to be willing to let them go, because they bring you down. And I agree with that too. Let's see. Persevere in joy despite the consequences. And again, when you're looking at circumstances to say whether you're happy, that's happiness. But when that circumstance changes, when we get a global pandemic, you're into despair. Where if you look, if it's true joy, then it's not circumstances that determine your joy. It's God and what He's done for you. And that's what I think about is, number one, all He's done for me in the past. You know, I'm in a lot of pain 24/7, but He brought me through a surgery that should have, this was my first one. First of all, we thought I was having a heart attack, and it was my spine poking in my heart because my spine was so curved. My first surgery, I was supposed to have a rod, one rod, no bending, no, you know, I was going to be in a cast for a year, a body cast for a year. And, you know, God worked it out where I got hinged rods. And so I can bend a little bit. I can't bend a lot, but I can bend a little bit. Where that wasn't going to happen. I would have been in intensive care. This is what they explained to me. I would have been in intensive care for at least a week, maybe a month. I was in there for 24 hours. I would have been in the hospital for over a month, you know, if not longer. I was home within a week. I was back at work within 3 months. And that was just because I was being extra careful, because they said it's like a spider web going down my back. So anyway, the things he's done for me, even though things might not be so great right now, I just look at what he's done for me. I also look at what's coming, and hopefully not very soon. But when I'm in heaven, there's not going to be any pain. There's not going to be any sickness. And so I have to look at that too. And I think that's what keeps me joyful and helps me not to go into the doldrums. And then fear holds you down and joy lifts you up. And that's another, oh man, when I have anxiety attacks, that's the only time I've ever been depressed in my life, is when I was having anxiety attacks. And that was only because I couldn't stop what was happening to me. But joy lifts you up. So, like I've already told you, I just seeing all the things around me, and what other people have gone through, it's way worse than pain. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I have never had my country taken over by a evil power. I have never had my home bombed and my house taken away from me. I have never lived through a flood. I did live through Michael, but I wasn't here for it. But I've never had to deal with losing my child, or almost losing my child, watching my child be in pain. I mean severe pain. I mean, of course, my kids have had the broken arms, and well, not a broken arm. I don't remember any broken arms, but I do remember a hernia, and that was a severe pain, and things like that. Of course, they've been through that, but I've never watched one in the hospital writhing in pain. I have not. I mean, I had to watch my brother go through COVID and lose him, but I've never personally had to go through COVID. So, like he did. He had to suffer through that, and I've never had to suffer through that. So I look at what God has kept me from, what God has brought me to, and what God is bringing me to, and that's bringing me joy. And I just love books that I can laugh, because, whether it be an anxiety attack, whether it be pain, whether it be sickness, whatever, if you can laugh, even the Bible says, the heart doeth, merriment doeth good like a medicine. Am I saying that wrong? I know I'm saying that wrong. Anyway, the Bible even says that laughter can be like a medicine. And I found that so true. So, guys, I know I have gone on about this, but I just, I love fun stuff. And this was really a fun book to read, even though, at times, of course, you read the little bit of sad in there. You get to, you see some of the stuff she went through, and that, that's frustrating, but just to see the joy that she has, it's just, it was good. Anyway, and I hope you guys will check it out. It's Crazy Joy, Finding Wild Happiness in a World That's Upside Down by Mary Katherine Backstrom. And it's available at Amazon and probably all your bookstores. And I haven't checked to see if it's available in audio or because it just came out today. So I'm not sure if it comes in audio and ebook, but I'm sure it probably does. So anyway, check it out. Hope you'll give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and push the bell to be notified when I do another video for you. And it looks like, maybe not tomorrow, but the next day, the Prayerful Planner and Momentum August will be coming out. All right? I love you guys so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Talk to you later. Bye.